Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector, is a collective or general reading. So just be aware, parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Keep what works for you, leave the rest. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, this video is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then, it might give you further clarity as to your situation now. Right, we're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. And we have, oh no, the Three of Pentacles. Not one of them readings. All right, the Three of Pentacles is saying, the good news is you're highly elevated for mastering your skill set. And a lot of people are noticing that you're very good at what you do and they want to work with you. So that's the good news. The bad news is that the people that want to collaborate with you may not necessarily be the very best choice for you. So this kind of energy quite often represents like people who have unique skills, like someone who's a really wonderful musician, you know, and could make it in the record business, basically. Someone who is a really brilliant actor or actress, that kind of energy. Something unique, a sculptor, an artist, some sort of, maybe someone that is an amazing inventor, that kind of energy. Something that is not that common. It can also be about professional sports, people coming in and scouting and saying, hey, we want you for our team, offering scholarships, etc., that kind of energy. So all of that is really good. Having said that, when you're collaborating with people, you want to make sure, especially at this time when with Mercury in retrograde, Mercury is the planet of communication. And it just went retrograde on the 26th of February, and it will be retrograde until pretty much like the 20th of March. Like, in that energy, we'll be feeling it probably like for most of the month of March. So this is saying that if you are signing any contracts, make sure you dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure you understand get a lawyer to look over the clauses, make sure there's no loopholes, that kind of energy, because this can represent, this is my secret society card, this is a mason working on stonework, and these could be masons. And the thing about masons is that they have their own group needs. And, like when you sign up with a mason, then you're signing up for the group. And so they have their own set of rituals, they have their own set of handshakes even, all sorts of different things they do, expectations they have of you. And the energy really is, you always have to put the secret society first, before your spouse, before your children, that kind of energy. So you really want to make sure you know what you're signing and move forward. It could be beneficial for you at this point, but you might regret it later. That's the energy, especially with this retrograde energy. And also, we had a new moon on the 17th, and the new moon on the 17th, that energy was, in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius, across the horoscope wheel from Aquarius is Leo. And Leo was then opposing the energy of this moon, of the new moon. And Leo energy is like, I'm a leader and I need to be able to look after myself. I have to be strong within myself and express myself properly to be able to be of benefit to the group. The group energy is saying, no, we want you to do it exactly the way we do it, under our terms, and we'll pay you what we want to pay you, and we'll tell you when and how often and what you will get paid for your work. That's why you want to really check into this. That's the kind of energy with the new moon. And also, on the same day of this new moon, we had the first year of the fiery horse energy, and the fiery horse energy in the Chinese zodiac. And so that energy is totally different from what we had in the last year, which was the year of the snake. And the fiery horse energy is just that. It's a fiery horse energy. So it's very free-spirited and wanting to move forward in that way, discovering new, going on adventures, that kind of energy. And also in matters of love, being very passionate and really close in the heart with someone, that heartfelt energy. The energy also is talking about the danger with the fire horse energy is that horses can be very impulsive. If you've ever ridden a horse, you'll know, like if they get spooked and they go for a run, you can go for miles on that horse and you'll be hanging on for dear life if they get the bit in their teeth and they clomp down on it. You won't be able to steer that horse and stop it. So you just have to wait for it to get tired. So the danger of the fire horse energy for the next year that we're in it is, you know, not to be impulsive and then go for a long run and then regret, oh my goodness, like, you know, get all pissed off and tweet away. And then, you know, the next morning you regret it. Oh, shouldn't have done that kind of energy. So that's the kind of energy we're in right now. Plus, there was also an eclipse on that day. And that's when the eclipse started. And the eclipse was a solar eclipse, which means that from the perspective of the Earth, the eclipse, the sun was blocked out by the moon for a short period of time. And so these eclipses, they can have like profound effects on our energy. Generally, like it's not so much a sudden as it is an energy of like gradual changes. Then we look back 6 months later and we go, whoa, a lot changed and a lot, like my life has totally changed kind of energy. We're seeing that being played out right now with this eclipse season right now. A lot of what's going on with the Epstein files and all this energy coming out. For the first time in the history of the world that the monarchy had someone arrested in like 300 years, and you know, just like one day after another. And there's now congressional hearings with the former presidents, and like just there's a lot going on, and we're starting to see some justice coming through from these situations, which a lot of people said would never happen. So there's major changes happening on the earth. And now just in the last 24 hours, we've had the situation in Iran where, you know, the United States went in there, and we now, the Iranian leader has passed on, and a lot of his cabinet, or if you call them cabinet, have passed on. And this just happened, bang, in the last 24 hours. And I haven't had a chance to really listen to it a whole lot, but I know that there's a lot of Iranians right now. I saw footage of them cheering in the streets because of the energy. Now, I don't know that much about it. I do remember this energy, you know, like I remember like throughout the years, all the talk about it and that, but I have never really looked 100% into it. So I plan to do a bit of that. But the thing is, on March 3rd, we're having another eclipse, and that eclipse is going to be in the sign of Virgo, and that's about cleaning your energy up here. And so like that's what we're seeing right now, like cleaning shift up that's happened. And what's happening in Iran right now, that, you know, from my understanding, the leader who has passed on now, Mr. Gaddafi, he took control about 1979, 1980, and there was similar energy in 1980. There was an eclipse energy very similar to that as there is right now. I'll get into that. Like, if you want to know more about that, I'm doing readings right now for the new moon, full moon on that playlist. If you go to my channel, you'll be able to find it. In the new moon, full moon playlist, and I talk a lot about this because it's a lot. Like you know, it's a reading within itself, and how beneficial it can be for you to understand that this energy can be very challenging, but at the same time, can really, really be an awesome opportunity to move forward in a really, really strong way. And especially if you're feeling kind of like overwhelmed and down right now, I found the energy of this coming eclipse on March 3rd is really kind of shifting the energy a little bit towards a more positive note. And so we'll get on with this, but it's coming up in this reading, the same sort of energy. We've got someone who is in a mental prison here, not being able to say a way out. They're blindfolded, they're bound up. And this is like, sometimes represents the energy of being duty bound and feeling like you don't really have a way out. When we look at this and we see this person, they've got their right foot forward now. And the right foot represents, masculine energy, taking action. And they have it on dry land, and their other foot is in this puddle here. And it's actually really shallow water, and that this represents emotions. I'm not saying the emotions were shallow, but that there was way more water here when this, you know, and you've worked through all of these swords that are behind you. The swords represent your mental intelligence, your ability to control your mind and discipline it, and also, you know, your thoughts about, okay, how are you going to move forward? And I feel like that you just have this one left to work on, and that's how you're going to move forward. I mean, this person could walk away at any time, but they couldn't see that they could walk away. This is, you know, when you're trapped in a mental prison, it's kind of like when you get trapped in your thinking and you just can't get out of it. You can't see, you know, the light no matter how hard you try, and it feels like you're blindfolded. All right, we have the Magician coming in here. So the Magician is talking about bringing from heaven down to earth. This is the number 1 card after the 0 card in the Major Arcana of the Tarot. So the 0 point is when the Fool begins a new cycle, a new journey. And there's 21 cards in the Major Arcana. The last one is the World. So the World card represents the end of a cycle. And so this is representing the beginning of a new cycle, getting out of this energy. So this is talking about taking your thoughts and bringing them down to earth to benefit. And that you have all the tools that you need to create a beautiful garden. The Magician has this infinity symbol above his head because it represents infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. Just like Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond. And then we have this energy of an Ouroboros around his waist. Now the Ouroboros is a snake biting its tail. And we moved out of the year of the snake into the energy of the fiery horse energy. So there's been a lot of energy changing, like the old guard being let down and the new energy coming in. And so when we start to, like, the energy coming in is like a breath of fresh air, really. It doesn't feel like it as it's changing, because it's really dramatic and it can be really aggressive, the energy. The Ace of Pentacles is a gift from the divine saying, hey, if you stay on your path, I promise you that you will have this beautiful pentacle. And this pentacles in the tarot represent your health and your wealth and your happiness. Money is, of course, a very big part of having a good life on the planet. Having said that, you could have all the money in the world and not be living the lifestyle that you want. And so this is coming in as a reward if you stay on your path, get out of this energy, start putting this thought that you have into action so that you can move forward. We have a reality check coming in. So the Tower hits. Now, it's because sometimes when we're in this energy, like the universe will be whispering to us and saying, hey, you know, you might want to take a look at that. But we're like, oh, I'm busy right now. I promise I'll take a look in a week. Then you don't. So the universe takes a frying pan whack over the head and you're like, ouch, that hurt. Okay, well, I promise I'll take care of it right away as soon as I have time. But you don't. So then the 2x4 comes out and you still don't. So then the lightning has to hit your tower. And you can see that, like, it's caused a fire inside the house and these people are falling out. One of them is totally shocked and the other one was kind of like, ugh, I was kind of expecting this kind of energy, you know. And so the Tower is a reality check. And towers, when they come in, they always come in at the least, like you know, the worst possible time, basically. Having said that, it will feel that way, but the truth is, like, this is saying you need to face the truth, because if you don't face it now, it could be really, really serious and you won't be able to get out of it. Like, you're already almost there when that Tower hits to this level. And so this is talking about the 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Cups. And so cups represent love in the tarot. And generally, they quite often represent romantic love, but they can also represent love for others, like your children and your parents, etc., your friends, your family. It can be love of something you love to do or something you would love to be. And so this energy is talking about wishing for something. And when you're wishing for something, it means you don't have it. You're highly favored to have these 9 cups. but you have to keep in the game and keep your energy up. And you can see this person is leaking energy from his lower body. In body language, when you sit like this with your feet turned out, it's like leaking energy. It's exhausting. And so it's talking about making sure that you look after your needs right now and you stay in the game, because many a race is lost in the last lap. A lot of people quit just before they're about to be successful. And so this energy, this person is on display on a stage here. And so these cups could be behind him. So this could be from the past. This could be above him, the present, or coming this way on the stage, and he's a bit behind them. So we can't really tell where they are, but it's past, present, future. He is on public display though. So this represents an energy of someone that is in the public eye on some level, and possibly on a stage. It could be singing, dancing, it could be any of the arts, and it could also be talking about being at a stadium to watch a football game or whatever. And that's this energy here, like that we were talking about previously. So, and it could be someone that's a politician, a speaker, that like all sorts of things, but it would be public. And so whatever is happening is being shown in the public arena. And we have this energy here of the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands is talking about a passion for new discovery. It's a gift coming in from the universe to say to you, like, I know you're feeling kind of down right now and you're having trouble, but when all of this gets, washed out, you're going to be really looking forward to moving forward in life. You're going to have an all new passion for what's happening. We have a King of Cups coming in. So the King of Cups is coming in, and perhaps the King, he is the most emotionally available of all the kings in the deck. There's 4 of them. He is sitting on his throne, and he is sitting in the middle of all this real, this water that's turbulent. And so this represents volatile emotions and chaotic happenings. But he's in the eye of the storm. He's chilled out. The King of Cups has learned and mastered how to control his emotions, so he doesn't let them get the best of him. He is sitting on this throne, and he knows there's a lot of chaos happening here, and he understands that it's, really challenging for a lot of people, and probably for himself as well. But he chooses to just wait, and when he's ready to take action, he'll present his cup of love when the opportunity is right. Because he understands if you try and approach people when they're in chaos, it's not the best time to do business or to get into a relationship, that kind of energy. We have the 6 of Swords now. And so the 6 of Swords is talking about the energy of, okay, I'm tired of this turbulence, and I want to move off to calmer shores. And so you go to God and you say, God, please give me the steps that I need to do to be able to do so. This quite often can represent, this figure with the small child can represent your inner child, and that your inner child needs healing. And so that kind of energy, the conveyor of this boat is pushing it off with the rod, and he has to dig very deep into the mud to be able to move this boat forward, to get it started, to go off into calmer shores or to calmer waters. And so this is having to dig deep to do so, and quite often it can be about healing your inner child. We have the Empress coming in. So the Empress is all 4 queens rolled into one. She has all the qualities of the 4 queens in one person, basically. She's growing this weed at her feet, and it's representing her ability to manifest at a very high level. Like she puts thought into it. She plants the seed, and what time of year it should be planted, where it's the best place to plant it in her farm or whatever. And she rotates the crops so that the last crop supports the new crop coming in. And this energy, and then she leaves it up to nature, because she knows she's done her best. She's put the energy in, and now she's going to wait for this to grow. It's quite often said that the queen is pregnant with possibility, which means that she's just like a magnet to attracting all that's good. She's got her wand here, and she's out there, and she's chilled out. Now this can also represent someone that's actually pregnant. So we'll just keep that in mind as well. We have the Wheel of Fortune is turning. And so the Wheel of Fortune represents your destiny and being on your destined path. And sometimes what happens, like with this tower, once the tower hits and the truth comes out and you have to deal with whatever it is that the tower was about, then you're in a position where the Wheel of Fortune turns for you and you are now going to receive the reward for having gone through whatever this is and dealing with it. And so this energy is, the Wheel of Fortune actually has 3 wheels on them. And this one wheel has actually the Hebrew letters for the name of God. And the name of God is Tetragrammaton. And so a tetragrammaton is also a mathematical term. And it's an equation, basically. It's a ratio. And so it represents the golden ratio. And the golden ratio is like it's like nesting boxes within each other, and it makes up like the proportions of the proportions of our face are based on the golden ratio. It's like the 1.618. And so it's like as they are multiplied with each other. And you can see it in nature, you can see it in hurricanes, you can see it in tornadoes, you can see it in starfish, like in all animals. The proportions of our body, the length of our arms and our legs are all based on the golden ratio. We can see it in flowers, and we can see it in how the limbs on a tree grow, like in the order that they do so. So it's talking about the perfect order in the universe, and that God is an orderly God, and that God is in the eye of the storm, and so it's calm. The universe and the world we're constantly going into contraction and expansion. And when we're expanding, it can get messy at the edges, but then everything has to come back into order before it can expand again. And this is the energy that we're in, and we're seeing this being played out right now on the planet. It's just like the allegations and the different information that's coming in is just like, what the hell? Like, really, what the hell? And and you don't even want to believe that this is possible. So you're better off not believing in it at all and getting the facts straight before you make judgments. What's real and what's not. And so this is the energy of the wheel. It's turning and it's bringing your life back into order, and it can be very uncomfortable when it's happening. But then when it does, look at, you're now on a new journey. You're back at the 0 point, and you're ready to go on a brand new cycle that is not like you're done with this energy, and you're moving into the promise of you've got two aces here already, and the aces are coming up a lot for people. Like, you don't see these many aces normally, but it's because we're in this new energy. So it's talking about, like, there's going to be all these opportunities coming in, but you've got to get this energy cleaned up so that you can move forward on your destined path. And then you're starting at the 0 point again. Some people go through only like one journey, one cycle in their whole life, and some people go through a lot. It just depends on, who you are and what's happening and, what your destined path is, basically. We have the Hermit here. And so the Hermit, when all this chaos is happening and it's really, really challenging and he doesn't know what to do, the Hermit goes up to the top of the mountain and he isolates himself so that he can meditate and go inward and then pray and ask source energy, God, what should I do now? When the lantern is full of the North Star energy, he comes down from the mountain and then he puts it into action, but he doesn't act impulsively, especially when it comes to major life decisions. And so it's like he takes this energy then and he brings this energy down from the mountain and he implements it. And then there's victory. There we go. That's what we want to see. So this is talking now that the actions that you take after you consider this, like you go inward and really understand what you're doing, that you have victory. And this is talking about victory as a leader. Like the other people can look at you now and say, wow, they are a good leader. And we were like thinking like they were being selfish or whatever, but hey, they got their shift together and they've proven themselves. And it's because you were able to rein in your emotions and not do what everybody wanted you to do, but do what you knew you needed to do to get on to make sure you were on your divinely guided path. And because you've done that, now you're in a position of leadership. And look at, the magician is pointing to you now. You see that? The magician is going, way to be, way to be. That's the energy coming in there. That's the energy you want to be in to produce now. So this is a pyramid that I'm building, and this lower line here is the first steps. Like, it's kind of what's happening right now and the tools that you do have and kind of the energy. And then this is the obstacles that are coming up and how do you address them. And do you, now it's like, do you have the courage to do what you need to do? And this is talking about, I'm willing to fight for this at all costs. So this is like cutthroat, it's cutthroat energy in the way that you will do what you have to do to make this shift happen. But sometimes this energy can be like not in alignment. You know what I'm saying? So it could just be cutthroat energy in general. But quite often this also can represent the ability of nature. You know, if you think about God's thumbprint, God's thumbprint is on everything in nature. And nature does not, like, a lot of times as human beings, we want to always be like moving forward. We feel progress is forward movement. And then if something happens and we have to take a step back or go sideways, we get upset because we're like, damn, I was going so good and now I'm going backwards. And like that's like the retrograde season. It's kind of like, I wanted to get all this done and I'm so frustrated because I can't. Well, don't. Then go with the flow. Take a step backwards. You know, life is a dance, not a march. And so when nature is counting to manifest, the way nature counts is the 1 + 1 = 2. And then 2 reaches back into the past to grab 1 and adds it to the current situation. And then we have 3, and then 3 reaches back into the past and grabs 2, and now we have 5, and then 5 reaches back into the past and we have 8, and this keeps going on like this. And that's how nature manifests. And I feel this is talking about manifesting. This energy is let's get some change happening here. That kind of energy. So we have the Pentacles energy coming in. Now this is the first communication coming in. So the Page of Pentacles, they would work for the King and Queen, generally from the age to 7 to 14. And they would deliver messages in the court, and they would be, you know, do small tasks, etc. And if they did a good job and they were around, then when they were 21, and if they could afford a horse, they might be considered for knighthood. And they generally would come from the surrounding area, from families that, you know, were more well-educated and higher society families. And so each of them has their own element that they focus on. And this page is focused on the element of the pentacle, which is about earthly matters. So health, wealth, happiness, and of course the coin. This is about your lifestyle overall. And so there's some sort of information coming in regarding your lifestyle. And of course, in the old days, the pages would be like, it would always be in person and hand-delivered kind of energy. But this energy can say that it's actually an energy of, you know, we have so many ways to communicate now. It could be a letter coming in the mail. It could be the kind of energy of a phone call, a text message. It could be you see something on social media, someone posts something, someone messages you there. You go to an event that you see on social media and you meet someone at that event, that kind of energy. You listen to the news like I did for a few minutes before this reading, and I was like, whoa, a lot has happened since I looked last, and that was just yesterday. I believe in keeping in touch with what's going on in the world. I don't want to sit and listen to it for hours. Sometimes if I'm interested in the history of it or whatever, if I find a good channel or something, then I'll listen to their perspective on it and learn, you know, what's really going on in that country or whatever. But, you know, whatever is happening at the top, is generally going to trickle down to our lives in everyday life. And so we can learn a lot just from quickly watching, hey, what's going on in the world today? Oh, well, we might have something similar on a smaller level coming back. Sorry, my cat just took a jump here. So we have the death card coming in. Again, this is saying major transition is happening. And I feel like on the world in general and in people's lives, this is talking about, look at this energy here, like the king has been trampled. And this is not talking about a king actually, like a person. This is a symbol for the monarchy. And so this is what we're going through right now. The monarchy in England is having a rough time right now because of what's happened. And so this energy is like something I never, like you never see this. You never, like I've never seen it in my whole life where they're talking about the monarchy in this way. I've heard it been talked about in history, you know, that's happened, but not in my lifetime have I seen like the king being heckled, you know, like by large crowds. I've never seen, like, mind you, I don't watch the news that much, but it's not usually, I don't think it's what they usually do. But we're seeing that now, and we're seeing, you know, like this older person is like almost bartering with the Grim Reaper, saying, hey, like, if I give you cash, will you not make me die? Or, you know, that kind of energy. And this is something you can't, like the bartering isn't going to work. Change is on its way, it's coming, there's a transition. And when you think about death and birth, they're very similar. So, you know, when someone dies, they quite often, you'll see, they'll talk about, like people that have had near-death experiences will talk about going down the tunnel and then they see light at the end of the tunnel. And, you know, babies, what happens? They go down the tunnel and then they see light at the end of the tunnel. The major difference is that, you know, when people catch a baby, on the other hand, they might be a couple of idiots and they might not know what to do with you. So then you have to go back and heal yourself, you know, when you're an adult and think, oh, like what the heck were they doing when they were raising me? But it's all, you know, babies don't come with the manuals. So a lot of times, you know, parents have to guess, how do we do it? And every child is different. So you can't just, like some parents think, oh, I've got it. But then they have the second child, and the second child, of course, is totally different from the first. And everything that worked on the first child, none of that works on the second child. And that's just the way. Raising children is way harder than it looks at first glance. If you've ever like had that experience, you bring a baby home and you realize, wow, my life has changed forever. And it's a beautiful thing, but it's also at the same time, it's a huge change. And so this is that energy. When God catches us, he knows exactly what to do with us. So we don't need to be so much in fear of it, you know, that kind of energy. And this flag is representing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like that, you know, sometimes like when the reality check comes or we're in the dark night of the shadow, it's really, really hard. But then a year later, when we're looking back, we're going, whoa, like that was actually the best thing that could have happened for me. Because if I wouldn't have had that happen, you're getting very much on my nerves, Stella. Okay, whoops, we have that upside down. I don't take cards in reverse. I had my deck upside down. Sorry about that. So this is the Page of Cups. I turned it upside down when the cat hopped on my lap. Hopefully she's gone off to do, apparently she's not in the mood for a reading right now, but she wants to irritate me because she wants me to feed her. She was just fed an hour ago, but like, whatever. Cats, you know, dogs have owners, cats have staff. You can't make a cat do what you want it to. They just do what they want. So this is the Page of Cups energy coming in, and this is, the Page of Cups is offering a cup of love. It's got a fish in it. So that, you know, he knows there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he wants this particular fish. This is the fish he's got his eye on. So this could be the King of Cups coming in as part of this major shift in your life. And remember, the King of Cups, the kings could be male or female in their masculine energy, and the queens could be male or female in their feminine energy, just as all of the characters in the deck. Quite often the Empress and Emperor are they're, you know, male and female because they represent like the epitome of that, of the feminine or masculine energy. But The Page of Cups, this could even represent online dating. That kind of energy is very focused on this cup, and there might be some communication coming in, possibly from this King of Cups energy, saying, hey, would you like to go on a date? I hear that you had a real amazing victory. I'd love to talk to you about that. Maybe he's looking for someone to work for his company or something like that. Like it's that kind of, like a really good connection. And so here we have this Strength card coming in. This is, we're talking about the courage to be able to move forward. Change, it's so interesting because change is the one thing that we can always count on. It's the only constant in life. Change is happening whether you recognize it's happening or not, and yet we fear it. And this is about facing those fears. Like this young woman is reaching into the lion's mouth, and this is a mature lion. I mean, this is a very dangerous thing to do, but look how submissive the lion is being, because this represents her fears from childhood, and she's digging deep within herself and the lion to face those fears so that she can move forward with infinite potential, to the power of infinity and beyond. And so the lion recognizes that she's not to fool with. She's not fooling around. She wants to clean up these fears that she has so that she can have all the good, the rewards that God is and the universe are delivering her way. She wants to make sure she has that. We have the energy of the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords is saying no more closed mind, no more being in this energy. This can represent someone, you notice this is very similar, the posture, to this card here. The feet are both out like that, leaking energy, and the arms are crossed. But the difference is, this is almost like in an infinity symbol. And this energy here, she's got her arms over her heart. And this energy is talking about, even her right arm is over her left. So this is her masculine energy, is holding back her more intuitive energy and saying, no, we have to find a logical explanation here. It's either this or it's that. It has to be one of those two things, my way or the highway. But she's blindfolded, which can also mean that she doesn't want any distraction. She's telling people, stay away. I want to focus on my intuition here. She's blindfolded. There's a saying, because you have eyes, you cannot see. And that's because, people will say, oh, when I see it, I'll believe it. But, really in reality, you only see a very small portion of the spectrum of light. So you can't see most of what you think you're seeing anyway. So it's kind of like, when you think you're seeing it all, you're actually seeing only a very small portion anyway. So because you have eyes you cannot see, you may as well go inward and consult with your third eye. And again, it's showing that new moon there. If you want a new result, then use your intuition with your logic. And there we have it again, talking about how the moons at this time are very influential. And I looked it up, if you check out those, the playlist of the, I'm halfway through the signs right now. And I will be done them in the next 2 days before the third, when the moon actually hits. But it's really interesting. I found this really fascinating. And I found that it gave me so much, I felt so much calmer after I realized, oh, okay, because it's not that common. I mean, I share what, 2008 we had similar energy in 1998, or 1980, sorry, we had similar energy. And then again in 1988, we had similar energy. And then in 2007, now in 2026. So sometime, and now look what's happened in Iran. This has been going on for a bazillion years. And all of a sudden, what? In between these two eclipses here, this is what's happening. And the people, it's wild, how bang, it's happening at this time. And so that's what this is saying, because there's the sun, and there's the full moon, and there's the new moon. And it's talking about, this lobster is climbing out of the water, out of the emotions. Okay, I'm going to go on my path here. But man, I got to get past this domestic dog and this wolf, and they're both howling at the moon. And I got to stay in between these two pillars. So I got to be brave now and, just go by, and hopefully they won't notice me, that kind of energy. And so this can talk about like not, like have you been too much on your domestic side, like not getting out, not interacting with other people, or have you been like a wild child and you're out there and you need to calm down a little, that kind of energy. And then we have the energy of the Queen of Wands coming in. So the Queen of Wands is sitting on her throne, and she is in a position of like where she's known to have a very sunny disposition. She doesn't worry because this veil represents her ability to, how thin the veil is between the spiritual and the physical realm. And she can use her intuition as well as her logic to come to strong creative solutions to any problem. And so that's the energy that you want to be in. She has this little black cat that's way more well-behaved than mine was for this reading. But like the black cat, a lot of people won't have a black cat. The queen, this queen, she's like, I don't care about superstition. I'll just, use my intuition and my logic, put them together. I can come up with a creative solution to anything. And so because of that, she has a very sunny disposition. She's known to be like the sexiest and the most natural beauty of all the queens as well. Then we have the Ace of Cups coming in. So this is now saying, look at, you have 3 aces here. You have the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Wands, and you have the Ace of Cups coming in. Like, wow, that's like crazy. So, and this has happened. This is the 3rd reading in a row where 3 aces come up in the reading. And like I could show you, I've done a lot. I think I've done 150 of these readings in the last 4 months. And I can tell you it doesn't happen that often. But in the last 3 days, I've had 3. Now, this reading is the same aces came out for the last reading I just posted yesterday. And the one before that, the Ace of Cups wasn't there, but the Ace of Clubs was there. So we have this cup of love coming in. And so this, it may be saying, okay, the king's getting ready. You might represent this Queen of Wands energy, and the King of Cups might have had his eye on you, but he's been waiting for you to basically clean up your act. That kind, and this is getting into your heart's desires. So it's saying, yeah, now maybe you are ready for a cup of love. Maybe in the past, any times you've had love in your life, it's kind of ended up like this, and you're like, man, it's just easier to be alone. It's just easier not to even bother. I may as well just stay single. It's easier, but I want peace in my life. But the universe is saying, no, you deserve it. This is a cup that's overflowing with love. Like you're just going to love this. And the lilies here growing on the water represent how out of the mud, when you shove off here, out of the mud comes the beautiful, water lilies, right? That's where they come from. And then we have, being able to put your burdens down. So this is talking about your harvest coming in. And so sometimes like this can represent a harvest, and it's your actions and it's the actions of other people. So sometimes it can talk about, this is all good and it's your harvest coming in. And sometimes it can talk about burdens that you're carrying for other people. This is saying keep going. Even though you feel like you can't see the forest for the trees right now and you don't know where you're going, you're so close to your house here, you just can't see it. So, and it's saying if you're carrying any burdens from other people, put them down, lighten your load, and get your harvest home. You deserve it. And we have, look at this, we have the 4th. Hey, this reading wins. So this is the Ace of Swords. So all 4 of the aces coming in. So this is like a beautiful reading. It's saying there's so much reward. This is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. So I feel like there's some energy here where you're carrying burdens that don't belong to you, and maybe you don't even realize it. And you have to really go inward and decide, like, do I really need this person or that person in my life? Have they been someone that has been true to me? Have we outgrown each other? That kind of energy. Because you don't want to be in this position. This is the wounded warrior. So the wounded warrior, it's saying, yeah, you've had victory and you've managed to land 8 wands, you know, like, and you're on your 9th here now, and like, but you have 10 here, and maybe some of those you don't want, and it's kind of like you're exhausted, and so it's time to put something down. This could represent even the energy, you know, you purchased a house and you love it and it was an asset and it was really great, but now you want to sell it and the market's not good, so you're going to have to take a loss on it. It's that kind of, then it becomes a burden because now you don't want it anymore. It's kind of that energy. And then we have the Page of Wands coming in. So this is talking about having more that this passion for new discovery is going to come in. And you're really going to start feeling less like this and more like this when you were young and you had a feather in your cap. The Page of Wands is all passionate. And when new love comes in, it tends to do that to you, you know. The Page of Wands has a feather in his cap. He's very enthusiastic. He is totally focused on his wand. He loves his wand. And so he can sometimes, his information can be a little skewed because he has a tendency to think with his little head rather than his big head. But this energy is more about the youthful exuberance. It's not talking about someone that young. It's more about that energy of when, you know, you start on something new and you really are excited about it. And like the pyramids represent the passion for discovery, you know, just wanting to learn more and more about the world and, you know, having like, wow, I have so much energy here to go look for it. Letting go of the heartache. That's the energy that's coming in. So if you put some burdens down, the truth will set you free. But we are in an eclipse season. So this card can represent a heartbreaking decision that has to be made. But on the other side, this can represent your subconscious mind, which is the one we talked about from your childhood. And, you know, those are really the thoughts of the people that raised you because you can't remember it. Your unconscious thoughts. Your unconscious thoughts are your soul's thoughts. Like your soul also has needs. And if you know, a lot of people will say, well, I'm a human being with a soul, but it would be more accurate to say, I'm a soul traveling in a human body. And if you don't meet the needs of your soul, then your soul is going to start kicking up and you're going to start hearing from it and it'll cause problems in your life. And then we have your conscious mind, which is what you you know, your own actions and that you have had the experience. When those are all congruent with each other and you plug into your heart, then you can have everything that's beautiful that you want. And I feel like at the top here with all these aces, you know, if you put down the burdens and get back into the enthusiasm, like of being on your path, you're really going to feel like a, you know, young. And it's, yeah, looking at this energy, like letting go of the regret, letting go of the energy of the regret of this, all the way back to here again, to the beginning, you know, saying, if you have a good attitude, you pick up these 2 cups and you walk over the bridge and you decide, I'm going to move forward and I'm going to be grateful for what I have and appreciate it. So if in the past you've had really challenging life experiences, this is this new energy coming in, and it's saying that this is going to be more of a reward, like someone that's true to you, someone that you can trust, like that kind of energy. Someone that's perfect for you. So you could let go of this, let go of all of that regret. Once you learn from the regret and you can move forward then. Like once you live and learn, basically. So this energy, we're going to go from here up to the top and back down. So this is saying that, you know, a mental prison and feeling like like there's something bothering you that you can't get out of. Then you come out of it victorious, and people recognize you for that because you've contained your emotions and controlled your mind. And that's this energy here. And so this can represent that time that you did it. So now you're more congruent with your heart's desires when the Ace of Cups can come in and this cup of love. Put down any burdens that don't belong to you. Clean this up. And recognize, hey, like now all of your thoughts are plugged into your heart. Then if you, this energy, it's basically saying this was a blessing in disguise in some ways, because if you wouldn't have gone through this, then you wouldn't appreciate how beautiful this energy coming in is, which brings a whole new enthusiasm for life, which you were promised at the beginning here. And you can let go of this energy, like being with someone that you can trust, someone that tells you the truth, that you don't have to wonder what were they up to today while I was off at work, kind of energy. Seeing like creative solutions, using your intuition and your logic together, and then also having the strength and the courage to face, you know, all this energy that we don't know what it's about. Going off and really learning how to go inward, meditate and pray, and get into a place where you connect with source energy, and then you use your intuition to decide, okay, what's the next best logical step, and then apply that logically in the real world. That kind of energy. And so this is really a powerful reading. The King of Cups, right from the beginning, the whole secret is not getting all caught up in your emotions and getting, you know, letting your mind control you instead of you controlling your mind. That's how you end up being in a strong position. And making sure you don't sell your soul to anyone. Like, that you keep, the one thing that we're given, that God makes sure we have when we hit this earth, is choice. And it may not seem like that, because some people are born into poverty and some are born into being super rich. And we're really seeing this right now, like all these powerful people that are at the top of the pyramid. And here they are, look at how much regret they're in. Like, wow, they regret sending those emails, basically. A lot of them aren't being charged with crimes of, you know, some of the horrendous things we're hearing about, but they misappropriated money. And by God, if you misappropriate money, then you're going to, in our world as it is today, money speaks. And so, you know, some people will do anything for money. And they'll even send stupid emails with their real name on it and talk about all the horrible things that they've been doing and thinking, oh, well, we won't get caught. But they get caught because of the money. Isn't that interesting? You know, that's basically at the top of the pyramid. And when you're here at the top of the pyramid, that's when the universe comes along and says, boom, get off that, you know, get off the top there. It's not as good as you didn't do as well as you thought. You can do better. Get back out there and do another cycle. That's the energy that this reading is in. It's very kind of like in your face kind of energy, this energy. When push comes to shove, the universe will shove you off that pedestal. That's the energy. You know, it's time for you to take a little humility trip down, you know, like here. So anyway, I do hope you've enjoyed this up to this point. If you want to leave off here, give it a like and comment, please. I really appreciate it because it helps me build my channel. And consider subscribing if you resonate. I would be honored if you did so. For you, if you want to stay and find out a little more clarity, I want to know what's going on here. I'm using my Oracle, Tales from the Vector. And it, as I said, I started this back in 2007 when there was an eclipse season. And now in the eclipse season, I'm working on finishing it. I think it's perfect. It gave me a lot of like, that feels better energy, which we can use these days. And so, yeah, I've been working on this, and the numbers on these cards represent the numbers of how the paintings are in my gallery in my website, and my website is talesfromthevector.com. I'll have all the information in the box below. You can look up the numbers of the paintings. I'll put them how the order they come up, and then you'll know which paintings to look for if you're interested. And this is from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. So we have the World card coming out. This is the end of a cycle. This is the beginning and the end of this energy. This secret society energy, and the energy of people like being at the top and not being able to be knocked down off their pedestal. We're being shown right now, like, goodbye, that's not going to be the energy anymore. Everybody has the potential. And sometimes it can seem like, oh, wow, it's pretty, you know, it took 300 years for it to happen. So, hey, you know, look at how long the people in Iran have been waiting to have freedom in their lives. And this energy is coming in now like it's been over a half a century. So it's that kind of energy, like sometimes could, you know, like it's the timing. I don't understand the timing. I don't even begin to pretend to understand it. The important thing is to go on a foolhardy journey, which means that you're in your heart's desires, Like when you can get to this point, then and you're on your destined path, and the reasons you're doing what you're doing is you love to do it, it's fun to do it, and you're making the world a better place. Like it's a win-win-win. And then we have the Libra energy coming in. Yeah, sometimes it takes a while to mature. Some people do it around 35. Some people might do it around 85. But this is talking about being able to be in an energy where Libra energy is when you're mature enough to understand what a commitment, like getting married and having babies, and raising children in a family. How you need to be a mature person to be able to do a good job of that. And you could be mature at 20 or you could be mature at 90. It just depends. We have the Aquarius energy talking about using your intellect in a really strong way. And this energy is Uranus, I believe, is in Gemini for I don't know how long, but it's an intense energy as well. Some of these bigger planets on have a huge effect when they start coming, when they change cycles. We don't notice them so much because it takes them so long to move, because they're so big. But the Aquarius energy is being featured a lot right now. Of course, we move from Pisces into the age of Aquarius. It's a 2,160-year event. So it's hard to pinpoint, but a lot of people felt like 2020-ish was when we were starting to move into that energy. And Aquarius is more like about using your intellect, being willing to experiment, take small experiments, observe what happens, just like a scientist doing a lab experiment. Did that work? No, it was a major fail. Okay, well, I won't do that again. That kind of energy, you can apply it to real life. And then if it did work, well, I'm going to double up on that. That really worked. I'm going to do more of that in my life. We have the Lovers coming in. So yeah, this is the energy of the new passion coming in that's being promised with the King of Cups here, the most stable energy for love. I feel like this is something that a lot of people really would love to have. And it seems to be harder to obtain. Unconditional love is quite conditional, is what I mean. Like, it's not that easy to find someone who has unconditional love. So scotoma is when you have a blind spot. You can't see it, but everybody else can. Everybody else can see it, but you can't. Or you do see it and nobody else can see it. So, basically you can say love is blind. There's usually a scotoma around love of some sort of another. We have the Tower energy coming in. So the Tower, yes, this could represent divorce. There's a couple coming out here. It looks like there could have been hardship, We have the cups spilled here. This could represent infidelity, that kind of energy. And so, real life, how real life is, right? So the Tower, I already explained what it is. It's sitting this time on the Empress. And so this energy can be like when you get to the top of your game and you're at the top of your pedestal and you think, oh, I have nothing more to learn. I'm there, yay. Here, I have the world in my hands. And then, boom, that Tower hits. Oh, not quite. When you're at the top of the pedestal, there's only one way to go, and that's down. And the universe wants us to keep moving forward, and our goal is to become a better version of ourselves continuously. So the Hangman is about having that balance. The hermit goes up to the mountain, and after like a real night of the soul, like a dark night of the soul, when you just feel like your whole life is falling apart, and quite often that will be the Tower energy. And the Hangman is more like checking in now and then, hey, I'm feeling a little off. I think I'm going to go get away for a few hours and just go sit out in nature, and I'm going to just meditate. I'm going to just watch the ocean, the waves coming in and out, and it's going to calm me down, and then I'm going to be ready to go again. The Sun is representing the most, it's the happiest card in the deck. And it's saying God is here. This is God's plan. When you're on God's plan on your journey, then you can always ask. You can always ask for how to get back on your journey when you feel like you're off. you know, the North Star energy represents. And this a second eclipse is in the North Node energy, which I feel like it's like one of these like really, I mean, as I've gone through half the readings and they've been so inspiring. And then I watch the news for a few minutes the next day and another wild, crazy thing has happened in the news. And I'm like, no way. I never thought that was going to happen. It's kind of like watching a movie and thinking like the plot is just too wild. No one would believe it. People would be walking out of the theater. But the truth is quite often stranger than fiction. And it can be really funny if you can see that, like if you can laugh. A lot of times when people laugh, it's because, oh, the relief of the truth. Even if it's a hard truth, it's like, wow. You know, at least, you know, we have the truth now. Like, it's important. And also using your third eye energy, being able to be in that space. We have the guiding star. That's your North Star. And so that's talking about, as you do, like, that's when all these aces are coming up. And you'll be rewarded for that. And then things just become easier. Things that you used to think were just the way it was, you'll be like, oh, it was just that way because I was that way. You know, this or that, my way or the highway. Maybe try something different than your way. You know, you might find out like, hey, that, you know, it could be better. It could be different. It's really interesting because at this point, we don't have any cards coming in so far about any karma, like, which is really weird in this reading of this side. So anyway, we'll just keep going. The transition, the death energy. Isn't that sitting right on the death card pretty close? It's in here somewhere here. Is that, oh, right on it. That's why. So it's just reaffirming that, you know, death and rebirth, that we're always expanding and contracting. Where, you know, there's the extremes. The Wheel of Fortune is turning. We've already talked about the Wheel of Fortune turning in your favor. The Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor when you get on your back on your destined path. And that is so that you can fulfill the energy that God wanted. And then look at this, we have the Sagittarius energy coming in. I don't know if I mentioned that when the signs come in, I'm not talking about an individual person. I'm talking about what can we learn from each of the state of being of each of the signs. And the Sagittarius energy is really interesting because there's a black hole in the Milky Way in the middle of the constellation of, well, I don't know if it's in the middle, but it's in the constellation of Sagittarius, and it's considered the heart, the cosmic heart of the universe, and it's been coming up in a lot of readings here. So I feel like, you know, I feel like there's maybe enough people have prayed and gone inward and raised the vibration that now we're in an energy where the world's due for an upgrade. And that's how this is ending here. So we have the Magician coming in. The Magician was here and again here. And it's talking about this as being an energetic upgrade. In my oracle, the Magician card is a beautiful little golden dragon playing in the water with, you know, in a puddle of water in Peru. So it's kind of like you know, having a higher understanding of what's going on. So sometimes, you know, if you're feeling this way right now, and you're feeling, because a lot of people are, like a lot of comments like, oh, I just can't handle much more of this. Like, it's so hard. Life is so hard. There's so much crap happening in the world. Like, how can these people have been doing this? You know, it's really upsetting a lot of people. The energy is very heavy. And of course, anytime there's war and there's people, you know, whose lives are being ruined, it's very heavy energy. But at the same time, we can see that there is some really good shift happening in the world. And that, you know, each and every one of us, if we choose to bring that energy into our own life and do our best to be the best version we can be, we're at the very least, we're one less problem for the universe. That kind of energy. I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. Please do give it a like and comment if you have. And consider subscribing to the channel if you resonate. It would be my honor if you did so. I will be back with another daily reading again for you tomorrow. Bye for now.